Somebody died today. His name is Ramsey. We're here today in remembrance of the life that he shared with us. I remember the time he came to me, told me about his first path to success. He was 7, maybe 8 years old. And he told me about this gigantic, maybe for him it was gigantic, bigger than his head, he told me, cookie that was painted with blue sugar icing, and it was in the shape of a bear's head. He won it from a swimming meet that he went to when he was just a child. I also remember the things that gave Ramsey the most pleasure when he wasn't at work were reading, video games, loved to play video games, music, whether it be writing music, listening to music, sharing music with others, and day in, day out, he was on the computer, on the internet, every day. Didn't go anywhere without his laptop. After leaving high school, I remember Ramsey spent most of his time studying computer science, programming, and math. He had this really funny thing he did with math. When he was doing his math homework, he'd sit in a room and you just watch him because he was so excited about math. You know, first one person, then 2 people, then 4 people, and sometimes even up to 8 people just surround him, all wanting to do math problems with him. They'd ask him, "Hey Ramsey, can we do math with you?" He had many achievements in his life. He was a petty officer in the military. He's submarine qualified in the Navy. An accomplished and successful taxi cab driver. He has A+ certification. His daughter graduated from boot camp, became a life scout, won a prize in the high school science fair. He had a gnarly scar on his knee that he loved showing me. Of those achievements, he was most proud of driving a taxi cab, the scar on his knee, and graduating boot camp, and the birth of his daughter. I remember meeting his grandmother once. She came to me and I asked her what the most vivid memory she had of him was, and she remembered him as he was just barely 4 years old, and her vision was going out. She couldn't read the small print on the newspaper, and she asked him to read the newspaper for her, and he did. He read the whole front page of the newspaper for her. As a teenager, between the ages of 12 and 18, he spent most of his time away from home learning how to survive. I remember when he came up to me with a smile on his face. The greatest accomplishment. He had to share it with me. He was so excited about it. He told me everything about it, about how he had gotten his qualifications for a submarine as fish. Told me how he had to learn every system on the boat, and how he had to learn how to fight fires, and how he had to earn, before he could even be a real person on the boat, to earn respect from everybody, and so for his voice to be heard, he had to get his submarine qualifications. Later on in life, after his family had grown up and everyone was well-to-do, he spent the next 20 years traveling, cooking for people everywhere, doing major research for companies, and camping. He was always camping, and everywhere he went, he was on his motorcycle. Remember one time I asked him if he could be anyone in the world other than himself. He looked at me straight in the face, without blinking his eyes. So you know what? I'd really most like to be me, except just a little bit thinner, a little more fit, and a lot more confident. Ramsey left behind something very valuable for us. He left behind a strong community of friends. Many of you, those of you who are here, whose own interpersonal connections were created or strengthened by his presence. Don't ask me why. I'm sure there's a story behind this, but his epitaph today, and I'm sure his life motto was war, hate, discord.